It's 2024, and I'm playing Dragon Age Inquisition. To kick things off, I need to decide what kind of character to play as, and I've already got an idea of where I want to go. In my mind's eye, I have a vision of a badass fire-wielding woman who burns all her enemies to ash. And so, I pick human and mage, before heading to the appearance customization section, where I come to the realization that I'm a man. Back to the drawing board, this time I realise you pick between male or female at the same time as choosing your class, so when I get to the appearance stage, I can now try and create a character that fits with the image in my mind. And at this point, I want to start making excuses. This character creator isn't something I'm used to. There's a square that you move a point around in to change facial features, and while there's some super detailed stuff like eyelash colour, there's also very few face shapes and no body options. I want to say all of that, and also show you a couple of good looking characters I've made in previous games, before showing you what my character ends up looking like after 20 minutes of work. Might not look too shabby right now, but keep an eye on how my character looks during cutscenes, and you'll understand why I had to preface this all so much. We're on to the proper opening of the game itself now, starting with my character appearing in some fog-filled realm, and being chased by demon spiders, which I'm going to be kind enough to not show in this video, as they're legit arachnophobia inducing. After randomly getting freed from this realm, I appear somewhere equally run-down looking. A trio of soldiers come across my passed out form, and when I wake up it seems I've been taken prisoner. Cassandra and Liliana here start interrogating me, accusing me of causing an explosion, which literally took place on the main menu screen. I've no doubt I'll commit plenty of atrocities once I'm in control of my character, but at that point all I'd done was click new game. At least give me a chance to be the bad guy first. During the interrogation, I also get a whole bunch of exposition delivered to me. An organisation by the name of the Chantry was hosting peace talks between the Templars and the Mages, because what's a fantasy world without conflict around those who wield magic and those who want to suppress it? Seems that the Chantry got blown up, and now there's a giant demon-spawning green breach in the sky, which I appeared next to. My character doesn't quite recall how she got there, so I just claim blanket innocence.
Whatever you think I did, I'm innocent.
I'm not sure if this actually works out for me or not, as I am unshackled, but also told that I'm being taken to the giant rift to try and deal with it. I've got this weird green mark on my hand which seems to be tied to the breach, so the standing plan is to get my hand to it and see what happens. I'm now given control of the character in full, which was clearly a mistake on the game's behalf, as I can't even walk over a bridge properly. Cassandra charges in to fight the first couple of enemies in the game, and I rush to grab a nearby staff so I can join in. Although first of all, I do change the audio settings, because the game started to get real loud. With that done, I can start engaging in battle, although apparently the game didn't get the memo that the mage by the name of Ember is fire-based, as I start the game with an ice staff. Still, works out well enough to see off this pair of demons, although Cassandra isn't too happy about me holding a weapon. I want to play nice with her and get on her good side, so I let her know that I don't need the staff, and she can have it.
Do you really think I need a staff to be dangerous?
Well, fuck. That's not what I meant. Yeah, this is one of those games where the dialogue options aren't always what you anticipate. I tried to write a good joke for this part, but nothing's better than this 6-second prosy D video.
Why?
Hello, fucker.
I'm gonna kill your whole family for fun.
What?
Still, Cassandra takes my threat surprisingly well, and decides it's sensible for me to stay armed. She even seems to be fine with me looting the corpses of her own soldiers. Off of one of them, I get this funky looking hat. Wearing it will provide me with some much needed armour rating, but having it equipped would cover up part of my beautiful face. Rather than compromise, I just select the handy hide helmet option, which all good RPGs have. It's then on to more combat, and things go well at the start. My lightning attack does a good job as an opening move, and I can get a fair bit of damage in from range. The problem is that when an enemy decides to chase me, I'm unable to escape. Fortunately, this foe only gets one quick hit on me before Cassandra is able to draw focus, but going forward this becomes a much bigger issue. As the enemies start to outnumber us, I end up with a pursuer that ignores my warrior buddy entirely. Running away doesn't work at all, as I move as fast in combat as a sloth on the weekend, and the sprint button does absolutely nothing. As luck would have it though, in my mad pressing of every letter on the keyboard, I eventually hit the tactical camera key, which at least allows me to tell my defender friend to come and deal with the shade that's chasing me. I still have to run half a mile to survive, but ultimately this does work out. Cassandra must have taken a nasty knock to the head as I was fleeing, as she suddenly freezes up in combat and just lets the ranged enemies attack her. Honestly though, this might be the most useful she's been so far, as it allows me to just wreck them with my magic without getting attacked in return. After losing half my health in the initial tutorial fights, I make my way to the first rift. I try to play it smart and keep my distance, supporting with magic from range, but the game refuses to let me target any of the enemies until I'm practically within licking distance. Surprise surprise, this then means I get rushed, but fortunately I'm saved by a cutscene. My hand gets shoved into the rift, shutting it down and stopping the shades from spawning. And I just want to point out once again here that this was just a random idea they had. The elf who grabbed my hand even says,
I theorized the mark might be able to close the rifts that have opened in the breach's wake. And it seems I was correct.
It's not like they had any idea what this would do, if anything. They were literally just like, these things seem to be linked somehow, let's shove them together and see what happens. It's probably that kind of logic which led to the explosion at the start of the game. Everyone in Thadus just going around shoving things into other things to see what the result is. This cutscene also introduces me to my two new squad mates, Varric
Tethras, rogue, storyteller, and occasionally unwelcome tag-along.
and Solas.
My name is Solus, if there are to be introductions. I am pleased to see you still live.
Varric I'm all on board with. He's got a sexy crossbow and seemed to kill the shade which was attacking me. Mister, let me just grab your hand and shove it somewhere, I'm not so sold on, the pointy-eared pervert. I have to have these two in my squad though, so let's hope they both can pull their weight. In a turn of luck, the next corpse I loot has a fire staff equipped, meaning Ember now actually has a fitting weapon to fight with. And seeing as I've now got a whole squad and the right sort of magic at my side, I decide to go full tactical in the next fight. I get everyone to focus their abilities on the closest enemy to wipe it out, while my character takes the high ground to lay down suppressing fire. And it all works out perfectly. It's not a particularly impressive looking fight, but it's the best I'll do in the entire video, so I had to include it, just to prove that I'm not a total idiot, which may well be your impression once we get to the boss fight. Before we get to that point though, I've got another rift to close. On the way there I get jumped again, so I have to use a healing potion. I'm only playing on normal difficulty, but the enemies are still being smart and attacking me, the mage, and basically ignoring the tank of the party. I dread to think what this game is like on the nightmare setting. In the next fight I do my best to cower behind all three of my teammates, and it just about works out. With all the demons dead, I'm able to close a rift, which is something you do approximately 10,000 times in this game. It does at least reward you for doing it though, as I now have my first level up, which is obviously being used to get more fire-based abilities. Yes game, I do want to leave my enemies burning in agony. Thank you for offering. We've now reached the forward camp, where the higher-ups are arguing about how to proceed to the breach. Despite being a prisoner just 10 minutes ago, they've now seemed to decide that I should be making tactical decisions for the army. I can choose to head with the scouts up the mountain path, or charge headfirst with the soldiers. Both options say there may be casualties, so I go with the soldier option, as I need lots of meat shields between me and my enemies. This path sounds like it's going to involve a lot more fighting, but all it actually entails is killing the demons at this one rift, which goes pretty smoothly thanks to outnumbering them about 5 to 1. I don't even think any of the soldiers died in this battle, and when we make it to the bottom of the breach, the scouts all seem to appear in good health too. Not sure if I did something in particular for things to go right, or if the threat of casualties was an empty one, but either way, it was clearly a smart choice to put me in charge. In this area, we get introduced to Red Lyrium, which I'll let Varric explain.
It's evil. Whatever you do, don't touch it.
And yes, what you're seeing right there is me immediately rubbing my body on the pure evil crystal I was told not to touch. What can I say? I can't resist a bad boy. Or a bad crystal either, I guess. Once we reach the base, Solus then lets us know what we need to do next.
This rift is not sealed, but it is closed, albeit temporarily. I believe that with the mark, the rift can be opened, and then sealed properly and safely. However, opening the rift will likely attract attention from the other side.
For a guy who claims to just be taking a stab at the dark as to what's going on, Pervy Boy here sure seems to know exactly what to do without any explanation. Everyone earlier was accusing me of causing these rifts, as I have the green mark on my hand, but I'd personally be more suspicious of the incredibly powerful elf mage who just happens to have all the correct answers about this never-before-seen phenomenon. And as predicted, something does appear from the other side, a great big pride demon. Oh sure, it's the pride demon that's the enemy. Couldn't have been the cis demon or the straight demon, could it, you bunch of homophobes? Reluctantly, I do fight the pride demon, and while I open this battle fairly well, everything from this point on goes badly. What you're seeing right now is me attacking it while it's got an unbreakable shield up that no damage can pass through. In order to get rid of the shield, I need to disrupt a Fade Rift, which will make it vulnerable again. Now in my defense, the game didn't tell me this right away, so how could I have known? In my attack, I have actually played this game twice before, meaning this is my third time doing this initial boss fight, so I totally should have known better. And either way, I still struggle to work out how to actually select the Disrupt Rift option when it does appear. Once the rift is disrupted, it's back to dealing damage, but my teammates seem to be getting wrecked by this thing, and that's before it summons more demons to help it, leading me on another merry chase as I flee for my life. I try to use my fancy new Immolate ability to scorch these shades, but it does pitifully little damage. The big demon is now shielded again, and I have to switch tactical command in order to get my idiotic teammates to stop fighting the invulnerable boss and come help me instead. As the fight continues, we do actually start dealing some decent damage to the big guy, but once it drops below half health, Solus goes down for the count. I obviously make it my top priority to save him. Okay, I'll send someone to help him out. I'm not doing it though. I still haven't forgiven him for the creepy hand stuff, the absolute pervert. My computer agrees with this assessment, as saving Solus makes all sorts of issues happen. I fight surprisingly well after this little issue though, and eventually defeat the demon and attempt to seal the rift.
Do it!
I wake up a few days later, and it seems I've been promoted yet again, this time to the Saviour of the People, and something called the Herald of Andraste. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. Took me about 10 minutes to go from prisoner to commander of the troops. 3 days sounds like plenty of time to be viewed as some sort of demigod. In this room I also pick up some fancy items from the special shipment chest, and we need to talk about something here. How is this classed as heavy armour? For real now, this leather skirt and crop top combo is somehow in the heavy armour category. Sure, the pauldrons look fairly robust, but the rest of it barely even qualifies as armour. Still, it has the best stats, and most importantly it's red, so it's what I decide to equip. When I head outside, the streets are lined with people come to bear witness to my greatness. As well they should be. I'm not actually allowed to speak to any of my doting fans though, instead I have to meet with the higher-ups again, who are far less complimentary.
Chain her! I want her prepared for travel to the capital for trial.
This Chantry dude really isn't a big fan of me, but the other two have decided I'm great, so we're going to do something that nobody expects. Form an Inquisition.
As of this moment, I declare the Inquisition reborn.
We then get a little cutscene of the Inquisition being formed, and when I spawn back in, I'm just standing facing this random rock. This really shouldn't amuse me as much as it does, but I just love that the heroic, yeah, you're the Inquisitor now, time to be a badass cutscene, is immediately followed up with rock. Just rock. Not sure you folks picked the brightest bulb in the bunch to be in charge. Although it seems I am par for the course on intelligence in this land, as I decide to take another look through the armour, and it is truly shocking. This big spiky dragon armour comes under the light armour category, despite being the closest to heavy out of any in my inventory. And when it comes to medium armour, we have this. That is not armour. That is very clearly just body paint. I'll be real with you, I'm going to have a read through YouTube's guidelines before doing the edit for this video, as I'm not even sure if I can show you the other armour in full. There's a good chance Ember is either blurred out or blacked out entirely, but trust me, what she has on couldn't be classed as medium armour by anyone's definition. Not wanting to make the edit harder on myself, I choose to equip the heavy light armour instead. It's then time to meet with my war council and hear what we'll be getting up to for the rest of the game. There's a lot of debate in this scene, but the 4-1-1 is that the Chantry hates me, and both the Mage and Templars think I don't have enough clout to be acknowledged. In order to remedy the situation, I need to get more influence, so make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Although in the game what you actually do is complete a host of different operations with your soldiers, spies and diplomats. Each of these are timed, and depending on who you send you'll get different outcomes. The war table is honestly the thing I love most about this game, as it's something I've not really seen any other RPG do, but I love the idea of actually commanding your forces, rather than just being the standard one-man army. Give me more of these grand choices when I get to a position of power. I love it. And that right there was Dragon Age Inquisition. I've got to be honest, I didn't really have a great time playing through the start of the game again, but that all comes down to the fact that I'm on PC. The mouse and keyboard controls of this game are legit painful to deal with, but I do want to play more as there's some really cool mechanics, and a brilliant story tucked away here. I won't be playing this anymore on my computer, because holding down the right mouse button 24/7 still has my arm aching, but I do plan to install this on my Xbox, as I figure things will be much better on controller. Do let me know what you thought of this video, and your own opinions of this game. Feel free to check out my other Games in 2024 videos if you enjoyed this one, and subscribe for more content like this. As always, thanks for watching. Sarge out.